Yeah, so stuff undied, it's a haiku. These songs never can die. These tears never gonna dry when I lose you. So sorry.
Oh,
How we
what's up?
Monday evening football. Week 11, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New
Mm,
York Football Giants.
that
Nick,
is
I'm pretty
true.
excited about this one. And also, is the NFL, do they know something we don't about the New York Giants? Because this is their second Monday, a great team. They played the
S-
Chiefs earlier.
Oh, see,
And
and you know that I'm on that bandwagon,
I
but
know you
like
are.
the reality is, I think now, okay, in fairness, it could be obviously New York is a large market. I don't doubt that.
Correct. Yep, for sure.
However, the Jets exist.
Mm-hmm.
And so my
Yeah.
thought is they might see something brewing. And as I've said
Yeah.
before, if you feel like, and I believe the statistics point to it, if you feel like Daniel Jones could potentially be a serious quarterback in the NFL, why not give him
Yep.
a primetime game 2 nights this year? Why not? If it wasn't, don't they play the Chiefs and the Buccaneers? Like,
They do.
that is a
That's
weird
a,
that
yeah.
is a weird two Monday night football games to give
Yeah.
a young why would you give Daniel Jones and the New York Giants, basically both teams that played in the Super Bowl last year, if you didn't think
Yep.
there's a chance that him and Saquon Barkley and the Giants could maybe show out a little bit? It to me 100%. A lot of planning goes into this game.
Yeah.
It's a very fascinating game. I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, and it, like you said, it's not like the Giants are just playing, cut like just a, middle of the road team on a Monday night. They got two competitors. I'm excited, Nick. I'm very excited for two things
Okay.
actually.
Oh,
My super.
let's go.
So
Let's
I
go.
was very excited about that, and
Crack that bad boy open.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I am. Oh wait, no, I think this. Actually, I think this was for my girlfriend. I think she might be proposing. Sorry. So
Bro.
yeah, so the little mix up there. Our production over here, sometimes that happens.
Oh,
But despite that, Nick, did you see Tom Brady throwing just footballs right into a jug machine
uh,
and catching them coming
that,
back?
I'll be honest,
Terribly fake.
yeah, 100% fake. Obviously, that guy does
Oh,
not have the athleticism to do anything remotely like that. We all know that. I mean, come
no.
on. This dude is 1,000 years old at this point. Let's, let's understand, something, something about Tom Brady. I, Tom Brady is fascinating to me because I believe that he absolutely has a social media team, obviously, that's
Yeah, for
planning all of
sure.
these things. However, he obviously had the foresight to think I need a team to get me out there a little bit more
Yep.
this offseason, and they have honestly done a great job. So, in fairness,
Yes.
while I think if any Patriots fans want to pretend that this is like all from Tom Brady's like that's crazy. But
Yeah, for sure.
he is executing on something, which is kind of awesome. So,
Yeah,
in
and
fairness,
and the
a
video,
very solid
the video
marketing
was.
plan.
Yeah, for sure. The video was awesome. It reminded me of those NFL commercials for fantasy football back in the day where you have like Mason Crosby kicking field goals
Yeah,
into, the church bells, or, some other guys doing like some superhuman stuff that obviously was edited together. Um but yeah, I mean, good for Tom getting out there, just throwing balls right into a jug machine.
no doubt.
And I would be interested to see. I mean, I know it's like probably like he I mean, you just couldn't do, like, maybe you could get one. I would be interested. I would like to see that.
Yeah.
I would like to see that in real life and see
What do you think?
how
What do you think
how that
like the
would work.
window is on the jugs machine? Like, it
Mm,
can't be very big, right? It's obviously the size.
nah.
I understand it's the size of a football, but it almost feels like it almost feels like the football is like squeezed in there. Like it's really like
um,
compact. Like
yeah,
it's a pretty small like
yeah,
window. Like
yeah. Because like
it'd be like trying.
with the jugs machine, you got to push it through. You have someone at that
Right,
end
right.
pushing the ball
Yeah,
through.
I mean, it's
So
in there.
yeah, so it probably does get compacted pretty pretty good,
It's probably
kind of.
trying to throw a football through my ring light here. That's probably like
Mm,
generally what it's kind of similar to, and like, yeah, that's tough. Like that's no
yeah.
small feat. But in fairness, these guys could probably pull it off. I don't know. Tom Brady, that dude's 1,000 years old. Like I'm just waiting for him to have the Drew Brees noodle arm. It's coming. TB12. Like, dude, you know what?
you,
You know
you know,
who is absolutely able to defeat TB12 is Father Time. And so I'm just waiting for the
yeah.
year where this dude has that noodle arm. He can't throw the ball more than 15 yards down the field like Drew Brees last year. And the reality is
Yeah.
like when that comes, like what's going to happen? Because
Yeah.
at the end of the
Yeah.
day,
And the big difference between Tom Brady and Father Time is obviously Father Time undefeated.
undefeated, definitely.
So
Never lost a Super Bowl to
just
the Giants,
no,
who, as as we now see in this Monday night matchup, is a little bit of a storyline that
for
obviously,
sure.
obviously, the mainstream media that runs Monday Night Football is obviously
Yeah,
going to talk about all week. I mean, the
for sure.
amount of times that you will see the
Yeah.
helmet catch on SportsCenter that week, the amount of times you'll see,
Yeah.
oh, Randy Moss was deep. Oh, I hit him on the touchdown, and then we lost anyway in the Super Bowl. So the
Yep.
reality is that will be over and over and over. I am praying this is one of the games that Peyton and Eli do.
They probably are.
You got to.
I feel like they're not going to miss an opportunity like this. It's Eli's team with the Giants, and it's Tom Brady, which I'm sure they both know very well and could have a lot of fun with it. Also, it's great alternative broadcast, competing with us a little bit. They get to share the stage with us, Nick. It's
Yeah, in
exciting,
fairness, I mean it's
But I
exciting for
will say,
them.
yeah, they better come correct though, because we will dust them under the rug if they do not.
That's the
But
facts.
that being said, I know we've dived a little bit into the New York Giants a couple weeks ago. We
Yeah.
talked about Daniel
Yep.
Jones, Saquon Barkley, but I did want to talk about a guy, Andrew Thomas. He was a part of Pro Football's focused top 15 second year players.
Okay.
They're really thinking that he's primed for a breakout here, Nicholas,
Mm.
because he's a guy in his first year. He was really able to adapt to the NFL well. Let's see here. He cut his pressure rate by more than half, dropping it all the way down to 6.1% for the first week 1 through 7. It was 14%. He was allowing pressures left and right, or at least 14% of the time. And then once he got to week 8 and on, he cut that bad boy down to 6.1%, which is actually like huge. So to me, that just shows a guy that's like he got halfway through the season and then got a little comfortable with the speed of the
Of
NFL,
course.
the physicality, that type of stuff. And really, with a guy like Andrew Thomas here, you might have you might have a Hall of Famer tackle in him, and so that's things that aren't going to get talked about as much, but are players like him are going to be able to really make that impact for the Giants and keeping a guy like Daniel Jones safe, leading the way for a guy like Saquon Barkley, you know, and I think because of that, they probably could give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a little run for their money in this game.
I agree wholeheartedly. And this is what I've been trying to tell people about the Giants. The Giants head coach came from New
Mm.
England. Okay? People mocked him. Oh, what a silly guy. He's doing all these crazy drills. Yet, without Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones was the most accurate deep threat quarterback last season. Look up the stats. If you
Yeah,
think I'm lying, look up the stats. That'd be a
yeah,
weird
look
thing to
them up.
make up, but just look it up. Do your research. It is a fact that Daniel
It's out
Jones,
there.
without Saquon Barkley in the backfield, was just lighting teams up over the top. I think that the Giants organization has obviously figured out a lot of things, right? One of the things they figured out was we like Daniel Jones a lot. We need to protect him, as you just spoke to him. And you're right. It's a very under the radar type of story, which is like I think the Giants are positioning themselves to be able to protect Daniel Jones well and allow with Saquon Barkley in the backfield, really allow him to play a little bit and like be able to really show off that arm. And so I love it. The
Yeah,
fact that you've got a guy like that that can protect him against that pass rush. Man, I think the sky is the I am so high on the Giants for so many reasons. And I want to emphasize, I don't mean like the Giants are going to win the Super Bowl this year, but I do really think like if
Yeah,
you watch the New York Giants play football over the next 2 to 3 seasons, you are going to see some really, really good teams. And I think like the reality is
yeah,
like as you say, like that's a find right there. Like you found a gem that they have.
yep,
People don't know about that. But the reality is, what does he do? Protect Daniel Jones, a damn good deep threat. You know what else makes you a damn good deep threat? Hand the ball to Saquon Barkley. This fucking guy is huge.
yes.
You give him the ball, dude.
You got
Like
to keep,
it's like you got to keep 8 in the box. That dude will run you like through you if you
yeah,
don't. And now all of a sudden,
yeah,
like a deep threat quarterback who was a provable deep threat without Saquon Barkley gets him back.
yeah,
He's protected. I agree with you, man. This game could be a lot closer
yeah.
than people think.
Yeah. And, as of right now, where they have the Giants ranked in terms of offense, I think you'll be kind of shocked about this actually. Nick, where do you think they have the Giants ranked in terms of offense?
I think that they actually maybe see a little bit of what I'm seeing. I could see them ranking the Giants like middle of the league.
Okay. Yeah, they have them ranked 31st.
No way. Oh, it's
Yeah.
silly. It's silly. They didn't
So,
have Saquon Barkley last year. This is the
yeah, I
problem that
know.
I have with people is like they did
And they're ranked
like
19th in the rushing.
dude,
Like it
Saquon Barkley was like Saquon Barkley was a top 2 fantasy football pick last season. He
yeah.
just got hurt. Like this dude is a freak. They to think that their offense without him looked anything like it's going to look with him is silly. And in
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
opinion, the only because they had a shitty offense last year without him, the only bright spot was the
Yep.
deep ball. And the reality is when you have
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley back there, now you free up even more of the deep ball.
Yeah.
They might be significantly the most improved offense in the
Yeah.
NFL this upcoming season.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think if you're a Giants fan, you really got to be excited about that in the future that, New York, has in the Giants football team
Yep.
because you got some young guys there that can play the positions. Now you get them working together. I think, I think you can make some magic happen on a Monday evening in November, late November,
Oh, for sure.
and, where is this game being played at? Oh, Raymond James Stadium. Gotcha. So that looks like it's in Tampa,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
and that's interesting because I feel like their other game is in Kansas City too, which is interesting because that New York market, I would have thought for sure one of those games would be at home, but no, no, sir. That's very interesting.
Yeah, it is in Kansas City. Good memory there,
I
Nicholas.
try.
But let's switch on over to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll chat about them for a little bit. Obviously, they got TB12 back there, still doing his thing. We're gonna see if he gets a little new alarm this year. I'm gonna be honest though, Nick. I don't know. I don't know if it's coming. I don't know if the noodle alarm is coming. I think he's going to be able to still throw the ball pretty well, 30, 40 yards down the field. And he's probably going to do it several times throughout the year because he's got guys like Antonio Brown, you know, and who's that other guy that they got that's a real good one? Mike Evans. How could I forget that guy?
Of course.
And you got a guy like Chris Godwin who, got some speed. And the most impressive thing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I will say this, is how they've returned.
Oh yeah.
They've returned every starter.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
That that's tough.
It is.
You know,
It is.
like you have a team that was already very, very good, and now you're getting those guys back for another year. They definitely seem like a team that's definitely going to make the NFC Championship again. And
And you know who they're
I
gonna
think
play.
I could,
You know who they're
yeah,
gonna
I
play.
think we could. I think we could see a rematch of that NFC Championship game because, like, if I'm looking around the NFC, I don't see much other teams besides Tampa Bay and maybe one other team that's very similar to the lighting in your room. But
Yes.
you know, but like, I mean, you're gonna have an Antonio Brown back for a full year, off season, ready to go.
Mm.
It'll be exciting to see if he can. And still only 33 years old, like young guy,
Yeah, that's true.
and so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. Now, the interesting thing with Tampa Bay, I will be I know we've talked on our daily show about Leonard Fournette and how he kind of had that struggle with being cut by the Jaguars
Right.
and then getting picked up by Tampa Bay. So I almost wonder because their rushing attack was not ranked very high, according to NFL.com. Their rushing attack is ranked 28th. So, and that's a combination between, I believe, Rondé Barber, right? Not Rondé Barber.
Tiki Barber's out there. Tiki and Rondé
T-
Barber.
well, Rondé Barber did play for the Bucs,
It's true. It's true.
so I don't feel too bad by getting that mixed up. But Ronald Jones,
Ronald Jones. Yeah, Rojo.
Ronald
Yeah, he's
Jones,
very similar.
Ronald Jones, and Leonard Fournette. I think those guys they actually have some Giovanni Bernard's on the
Yeah.
staff, CJ Proceeds.
Yep.
They got some decent, like, notable running backs. But I think you're really looking for Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette to really make strides this year. And I think Leonard Fournette, with a refocused mind, could potentially make that team go from the 28th best rushing team to like a middle of the road rushing team. I think with the combination of those two guys. So it is a little scary now that I'm talking about it out loud to realize, like, okay, this team, I mean, did not add much, but they added enough, And I've been hearing about this rookie that they added.
Okay.
This rookie
alert.
And I think he's a linebacker. Let me do a quick peek
sure.
here, make sure I got
For sure, this is
my positions right. Inside, outside, guard, defensive line. Where is he? Where's my man? My man.
This is a. By the way, for you guys watching, this is a Scotty O rookie alert.
Rookie alert. Oh, Joe Tryon, outside linebacker from Washington.
There we go.
This dude, I've heard he has been lighting it up.
Yeah.
And
is he?
I mean, and he's got some guys. He's got some guys to learn from. Jason Pierre-Paul, Shaq Barrett.
Yep.
Those guys are, taking him under his wing, and those guys have come out and have, praised him. Had very high remarks to say about him in his off season so far. Coming into the league. So that'll be a guy to keep an eye out for. He'll probably end up with, like, I don't know, 6 fumbles and forced, obviously.
Of course.
And then probably, like, I don't know, he'll probably end up with like 7 or 8 sacks, but like a very good rookie year, in my opinion.
That's how it goes. I mean,
But Nick, what are you looking for out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year?
When I think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think about one thing. I root against them every single week. The reality is that at the end of the day, in my personal opinion, Tom Brady, being the absolute, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, all right. I saw. I thought you were doing a spit take there, and I got a little. I got a little nervous.
I had to swallow quickly. I swallowed quickly. Pause before I felt it coming. So pause.
All right. So the reality here is simply that Tom Brady is a player that, at the end of the day, you never know what you're going to get, because this is a quarterback who, at times has found a way to just absolutely fall apart. I mean, if you remember, he was leading an undefeated team and then absolutely fell apart and lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl. This is a guy who, obviously, we are aware that Tom Brady has certainly had some forgettable seasons. People just don't like to mention those. I think the reality is very simple. Super Bowl hangover will kick in. Tom Brady himself spoke to that earlier in the offseason as he saw it about to happen. He knows it's going to happen. Yep. The thing that saved his ass by far is Julio Jones got traded out of his division, and they are horrible. And Drew Brees retired. He will walk through the NFC South. The reality, though, is playing that first place schedule. I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are likely to run into a few challenges this year, with their schedule being as difficult as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, I actually see them being in a similar position that they were last season, where I don't even think they're going to have a phenomenal regular season. I actually think that what will happen is they will get to the playoffs, and then Tom Brady will be able to turn on a little bit of that magic. Look, I'm not trying to say that Tom Brady is garbage or anything. He's obviously a very talented football player. But the reality is the fact that he earlier in this offseason spoke to them in a bit of a Super Bowl hangover type of vibe. I could absolutely see them lose this game to the Giants. That's something that I could for sure see
Yeah.
happening. If anything, this will be a trap game for them. I would be curious to look at what their game
Mm.
the week before this one is. I think this could absolutely be a trap game. Um, but at the end of the day, man, I think the problem with being a team that gets hot at the end of a season like the Buccaneers did is now
Yep.
you the rest of the league is aware of what you did that worked, and
Yeah.
the safe bet would be to imagine that they are going to continue to try to do that. And so now the whole NFL is kind of
Yeah.
aware of what you are going to try to do, and in reality I think that these teams are able to figure this out. It's incredibly hard to repeat as Super Bowl champs in
Yep.
the NFL. And I think at the end of the day, I think the Buccaneers are up against a little bit of that challenge
Yep.
to repeat. And I think Tom Brady saw it coming. I think at the end of the day, I also don't know how the Buccaneers, who are an older, more experienced team, certainly, but at some point, I sometimes worry about if you're the old, experienced team and then you have an injury or something like that happen, like how
Hmm.
does that start to affect things, right?
Yeah.
I think to think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to walk their way through this game, let alone walk their way through the season, I don't know, man. I mean, at the end of the day, how are they any different than the Los Angeles Lakers this past season? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
you won a
It's
championship. You have a bunch of veterans on team that everyone knows what the hell they do, and it just wasn't enough. Like at the end of the day,
yep.
I think the Buccaneers could
And
be in for a similar path, and I'm hoping for it.
yeah. And I think, to those points, Nick, that you very delicately put out there, I will say, like, they do have a lot of things going for them in returning all those starters, essentially. And, but it is a long season, so you never know how those injuries are going to take a hold because, very much like the Lakers, you get into the playoffs, you see some guys start to get injured, you're not playing with that full roster that you thought you were going to have that you see every team, go through. But it will definitely be a challenge. And, they do have a couple games. The game before that week, they played the Washington football team. So, probably go in there, probably dominate, and then play the New York Giants, get trapped in that game, and then lose one. And then you got really a couple of tough games against the Indianapolis Colts, Atlanta Falcons, Buffalo Bills, New Orleans Saints.
Mm,
So
tough.
they do have a tough schedule, and like you said, I do think they probably do well during the season. But if they are able to squeak in as a wild card, or just get in their division, they do have that ability to turn it on. And it's Tom Brady, so you can never really count him out,
Of
even
course,
though how unreliable he's been over the years.
I do think I do think notable for his unreliability. I do think that
Yes,
the part that's
and his
interesting to
deflated
me,
balls.
of course, well, I mean, you got to have some help if you're less
Yeah,
if you're I mean if you're obviously not the most talented quarterback in the league, you're gonna need some help. But I do think that
yeah,
the thing that I find interesting too is that I sometimes think that people forget the reality of what happened last season because I don't want to diminish that the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl.
yeah,
That's not why I'm making this point. But I do think
yeah,
that it's important to point out that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got into the playoffs as a 5 seed, I believe. And if the Green Bay Packers do not lose their mind at the end of the half and allow that Hail Mary touchdown,
yeah,
uh, it could be a different story. I also want to remind people that if you remember, the Kansas City Chiefs were without both of their starting tackles in the Super Bowl. And
mm,
I think it's important to note that while the Buccaneers they won the Super Bowl, once again no one is saying that they didn't. The reality is that up until the playoffs started, they were not a notable team. Like by any stretch of the
yeah,
imagination, they lost to the Bears earlier in the season in a game where Tom Brady did not realize what down it was. I think at the end of the day,
mm,
people have kind of forgotten that at the end of that season there, like the stars definitely aligned for them. The next
Yes.
next season to start the year off, those stars are not going to align. Like this was a fifth seed team going into the playoffs that played a Green Bay Packers team that absolutely lost their minds in the only season where home field advantage didn't fucking matter at all. And
Yeah.
then they went on and beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and that was a very banged up Chiefs team. So
Yes.
I guess my point is, as much as I dislike the Buccaneers, I do think it's a fair argument to say that they didn't exactly like have some overwhelming team last season. They
Mhm.
definitely underachieved and then kind of squeaked on in and then had a set of circumstances line up is far more realistic to what actually happened. And so I just personally I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a good team. I very well agree with you. It could be a rematch, and I actually hope we see it. I think it's great for the NFL to have like a Brady Rodgers
Yeah.
scenario. But I do think ultimately at the end of the day, it is important that people remember the Buccaneers like last season were nothing tremendous like during the regular season. They were not incredibly notable, and I don't know why that would dramatically change this year in the regular season. I guess is my point.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm biased. That's fine. But like at the end of the day, I do think this is important for people to note that this wasn't some 14-2 team that rolled through the playoffs and like did everything. Like at the end of the day, once again, I don't know how all of this pans out. Still won the Super Bowl. I'm not
Yeah.
discrediting that, but I do think this season, I don't know, man. I think they're up against it a little bit. I can see that hangover kick in, and it's gonna be tough.
Yeah. I I yeah, I think it definitely will be tough for them to repeat. But focusing on this Monday night game,
Yes.
let's get into a little bit of prediction time, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Nick, I'm gonna be honest, bro.
All right.
I have the Giants just steamrolling the Bucs,
I like it. Yeah.
like
Tell them.
28-17.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
If that's if you can consider that a steamroll. But I think I think you got a guy like Saquon Barkley. He probably goes for probably like 127 yards,
Yep.
2 tutties. Daniel Jones throws 2 touchdowns.
Love it.
Just a cool you know 298 yards. Probably goes like 14 for no, a little higher. It probably was like 17 for 21. Has a
Huh.
very efficient
I
night,
like that.
and
Yes.
yeah, I think it's going to be enough. Tom Brady's going to have probably 2 fumbles,
Ooh.
but he'll
Of course, he
he'll also throw 2 touchdowns,
at the end of the
1
day.
interception though,
Yeah, you see that Giants
and
uniform and you're him. You know,
yeah,
it's tough.
yeah, just the
It's like, oh no,
it is. But the
a little like PTSD kind of. Like you're like, oh shit, oh sorry, forgot you guys were.
uh,
We've had a few moments. Yeah,
yeah,
I look forward to this game now on the
yeah,
new announcement of Peyton and Eli. Uh,
yeah.
I dramatically look
Copied some
I
people.
dramatically look forward to this game. They absolutely did, and I think at the end of the day, this is going to be a phenomenal one if they're covering it by far. But and they will. I mean, that's like, come on. I mean, they got a chance to talk for 3 hours
Yes,
about Tom Brady, like, and he. I mean,
yeah,
you're gonna do it. So I think at the end of the day. I agree with you 100%. I think you hammer the Giants in this one. I think whatever the spread is, like you just fucking hammer that shit. Like at the end of the day, like the NF like unless there's some injuries, the sports books are going to make the Buccaneers the favorite. That's silly. I think first of
mhm,
all, the Washington football team has a damn good defense that's going to give the Buccaneers a lot of trouble the week before. And
mm,
yeah, man, I
yeah,
agree with you. I actually think I do people are gonna think this is my bias talking. It's not. I think this is a trap game. I think this is the first Monday
yep,
night football game we have seen on the schedule that is a trap game. I really think like
yep,
that makes a ton of sense. It feels to me like the Buccaneers defense is built to rush the passer. I don't know what they're going to do with Saquon Barkley, and I don't think they're just going to bully Daniel Jones. I think at the end of the day, like this is a game that Buccaneers fans should absolutely be worried about, and I think I'll give you my score. I'd say Giants 28 to 24. Giants win 28 to
nice.
24.
And if you weren't confident in that, despite all of our, going through this whole show and explaining why we think that, the Giants also have a bye the week before to get
This
healthy
is,
to
come
play the Tampa
on.
Bay Buccaneers.
This is what I'm saying. Dude, this
Uh,
is a trap game like anyone's ever, like, for sure. This is week one.
yep.
Like, this is
It's
late in the season, too. Not like
yes.
crazy late, but this is like late enough where it's like,
Yeah, this is just over halfway through the season,
I'm
and
telling you, dude,
this is
like,
like when, especially this is like the time of year where you start to, lose a couple guys here and there because of injuries throughout the season. So I'm I'm very excited for this game. I think whatever happens in the game, I wish both teams good sportsmanship,
yes, yes.
and I really want them to just go out there and put their best performances, like it was like like it was the final play of Hamilton that Lin Manuel was out there for. Like everyone was on point because he had to be.
You got to. I mean, come on.
I want that type of energy.
You got to. Here's the thing. Here's my question. If and
All right,
here, and this can kind of take us. I feel like this is actually a good way to kind of take us out.
all righty.
Say we're right. Let's say
Yep,
you and I are correct, and the
we
Giants
usually
come
are.
in and they win. They just it's not. It's kind of just like, yeah, they got this one. Like they got it.
Yep.
What what does that do for Daniel Jones' career?
Fast tracks it a little bit.
I agree. I think that in that type of environment, if you can beat Tom Brady on Monday Night Football in a game where you're not
Yep.
favored and you're on the road,
Yep.
I think and once again, I feel like if the Giants are capable of winning in the way that we're saying they are, it means that Daniel Jones throughout the season has obviously played
Yes.
like I don't think it's going to be like Daniel Jones is awful and then he figures it out against like obviously like
Yeah.
setting up this
Yes.
game like he's been playing pretty well. So I think because of
Yeah.
where it's at with the time of the season this game is in, I think it could be a situation where it's like if he can get that win, that's like a signature win in prime time. The media will love him. The New York media will love him.
Yeah,
And
they will.
I really think like it will help him like ascend regardless. Like they could suck all season. Like they could not make the playoffs, but if he beats Tom Brady on Monday
Yeah.
night and he played well all year, they're gonna be like, oh, this is the guy. Like this is
Yeah.
it's not like the Sandy or the Los Angeles Chargers were like amazing by any stretch of the imagination last season, but Justin Herbert played
Yep.
great. He played great in the spots he needed to, and people love that guy. I
Yes.
think that same thing could happen to
Yep.
Daniel Jones next season. And yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think if he comes out and can win that game, I mean, that's massive for him moving forward.
Yeah. And I will say this: if Daniel Jones can somehow manage to win 2 Monday evening football games next year, then
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
he's
dude.
it's
Can
gonna be
you
pandemonium.
can you imagine he knocked off Patty Mahomes and I mean, dude, you gotta just extend him.
Yeah,
You
bro.
just gotta extend him at that point right away. Just
Yeah,
extend his contract right there
that'd
on
be
the spot. I don't
that'd
care
be
if
a
you got
story. That'd be a storyline for sure
I don't
that
care if
the NFL would just take and run with.
dude, Scott, I'll tell you
There's a
what,
new goat in town.
they absolutely will. But I'll tell you what, the current GOAT, uh let's just address it right now real quick before we leave. These lights are still green. And the reason that these lights are still
Yes,
green is
because it's not Wednesday yet.
I do not give a fuck what Adam Schefter says. Adam Schefter can
Ah,
say anything he wants. I do not care. I will.
hey, let's get it out.
I want to see Aaron Rodgers show up. Yes, on Wednesday, and I want to see what him
Yep.
and the Packers say. Now, if I believe he's back next week, these lights will not be green anymore. If that is
Yeah.
the what takes place. But I'm not going to change these lights for Adam Schefter. If anyone thought that, obviously you're crazy. I'm never changing these lights for Adam Schefter. Like that guy has been wrong consistently this offseason. So
Yep.
at the end of the day, while I'm glad that there is a little bit of Rodgers news starting to shake out, the lights will remain
Mm-hmm.
green until myself and Scott feel that we got our boy back, even if it's for one season, as Adam Schefter would have you believe, which is silly. Silly
Yeah.
Adam Schefter. Watch Devontae Adams' contract. That's the reality of it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the
And I
reality.
did see that we're now tracking Aaron Rodgers' flight, and yeah, he stopped off in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Pretty weird, but I mean,
His plane, and just so happens that his fiance is filming the movie Robots in New Mexico soon. So
okay. So
maybe
that makes sense.
you know.
That makes sense.
So
I think at
you
the end
know.
of the day, man, you and I have said it from the beginning. He's coming back. Hopefully, we see him on
Yep.
Wednesday. Show up. He's back, and I look forward to him.
To reigning terror down on the rest of the
I agree.
NFL, baby.
I look very yes. I look forward to the rest of the NFL being like, oh no, as he arrives to
Yeah.
training camp.
In you know what I'm very excited for, Nick,
Uh,
is like how the rest of the NFL is going to turn on Adam Schefter because they're
oh
going to be like,
yes.
"You did this. You did this to us, Adam.
Why?
You
Yes.
you put this story out here." And now they just went undefeated in an extended season.
Now he's
You know,
back.
doing
The winningest team of all time.
he's going to solidify. He's going to let us solidify his greatness next year. It's going to be amazing. I'm excited to watch it. Probably more than this Monday evening football game, but I'm sorry, we got on a little tangent there.
It's all right.
But yeah,
it
I'm
happens.
excited.
Dude, the winningest team of
So
all time. You never know. Guys,
you never know.
you're the best. We love you guys for watching.
Hey, yeah.
God, you're the best. That's all I got for the
Hey.
people. You know what I'm saying? They're just the best.
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah, they are. They are. They're the best around. We will see you guys week 11 for this game between the New York Giants and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.